schoolers, welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra, and in this video you're going to be learning about summary writing. So we'll learn the meaning of summary writing, we'll learn how to tackle it, and there's going to be a step-by-step approach to solving summary writing questions. Okay, so stay with us, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. So in this video, do not forget the topic is summary writing. So these are the objectives for today's lesson. First, the meaning. Second, how to tackle it. And lastly, we'll be taking an approach to summary writing. And it's going to be a step-by-step approach to it. So let's jump right into the topic for today. The first objective, the meaning of summary writing. Now, a summary is a compressed representation of the facts contained in a passage or text. So a summary is a compressed representation. When something is compressed, it is reduced in quantity, it is lessened. Okay, so that's what we mean by compressed. So it's a compressed representation of a larger text, of a larger passage. Okay, so summary is the short text of an entire passage. So this is another way we can describe summary. So summary is a short text, okay, of a larger passage. Now, summary writing now is the process of writing a shorter version of a passage. Okay, so it's a process because it has to do with writing. It's a process of writing a shorter version of a passage, and also we can say summary writing involves reducing a piece of writing to a moderate size. So we can see the words short, less, reduce. All of these have to do with summary writing. So you are reducing a piece, you're shortening it, you are making it lesser than the original passage or the original text. Okay, so now that we have an idea of what summary writing is, let's move to the next objective, which is how do we tackle summary writing? Okay, so there are steps. So we'll read it one after the other. The first is to read the questions in the passage in order to have an idea of what you are to do. Now, in your examination, you have a passage is given to you and you have questions. And those questions are summary writing. You have to summarize what you've read in the passage. So the first thing you want to do is read the question. So it's quite odd or awkward to read the question first, but that's the first thing you should do because it helps you visualize what exactly you ought to do with the passage. Okay, so you read the question first in order to have an idea of what you have to do. Then the next thing is you read the passage twice at a fairly rapid speed. If the content is not grasped properly, do not attempt the question. So after reading the question, you need to read the passage and you need to read it twice, at least twice. Read it twice and read it in a fairly rapid rate or rapid speed. Just read it twice. And make sure you understand the passage before you even attempt the question. So if you don't even attempt the question, you have to read the passage again. Okay? So the next is highlight the main idea in each paragraph. Now, this point should be overemphasized. Like, it is very, very important to be able to pinpoint or highlight your main idea, and I've discussed the main idea over and over in the writing process, in all of our writing activities and all of our writing topics. So please get the video and catch up on the writing process where I discuss main ideas and where I discuss 3 types of main ideas, or the 3 sentences that can that describes the main idea, which is the topic sentence, the supporting sentence, and lastly the concluding sentence. So you need to have an idea of what the main idea is. Okay, so you have to underline that. So once you underline that, it becomes the foundation of your success in that section. Okay, so once you underline the main idea, you know the main idea, it becomes very, very easy to tackle summary writing. Okay, so this is like the foundation or the basis. So please make sure you take note of these points. So the next thing you need to do is Write answers to the question in grammatically correct sentences. Avoid clauses or phrases. Now, this is another mistake people make when approaching summary questions. They answer the question by writing in clauses and phrases. We've talked about phrases and clauses, okay? So please dig up on phrases and clauses and learn the difference between a clause, a sentence, and a phrase. So you need to write a full-blown sentence. Avoid writing clauses, avoid writing phrases, okay? Write a sentence. Okay, and you know that there are two types of clauses, the main clause and the subordinate clauses. So please try as much as possible to avoid the subordinate clauses. Okay, so write a sentence, write a complete sentence that is meaningful. Okay, so you have to write answers to the question in grammatical correct sentence. Your sentence has to be correct grammatically. Okay, the next one is do not lift the writer's discussion verbatim. Use your own words. Now, most people fall victim of this. They lift words, word for word, as it is used in the passage, and they dump it in their book. So this is not advisable at all. You have to use your own words. You have to express yourself in your own words. So you have to rearrange things. Okay, you might take note of the nouns or your nominals. You might use the same nominals, but just make sure that you are rearranging them and you are using your words. Okay, so the next thing is avoid using illustrations and figurative expressions. Figurative expressions have other meanings, so you need to avoid them completely. Okay, so avoid using figurative expressions because they have other meanings. There are other meanings attached to those expressions, and the writer is saying something literally, and you are using figurative expression to explain that it's just off it. Okay, so avoid using figurative expressions, and you know them: your simile, your metaphor, your personification, and all of that. So avoid using that. So once your writer says something literally, use it that way. Okay, don't express yourself using figurative languages. Okay, the next is do not deviate from the writer's thoughts or issues discussed in the passage. So in a bid to use your own words, make sure that you are not deviating from the writer's points. Okay, you are following the line of thought of the writer, you are sticking to the message he's trying to pass across. Do not deviate. Okay, so let's take a look at other things you need to do. Stick to the word or sentence limit. Okay, so once the question says, okay, provide one sentence, make sure it's one sentence. If it is 20 words, make sure it's 20 words. Please do not do more than you've been requested to do or asked to do or instructed to do. Stick with the limit that has been set. Okay, so the last is arrange your answers in order they should appear. So please, another thing students do is to they do not arrange their answers accordingly. So, for example, you've been told to write 5 sentences, one for each. You know that one for each means maybe there are 5 paragraphs. Okay, the first answer should contain the main idea from the first paragraph, and don't just scatter it all over. So make sure you arrange them orderly. Okay, so now let's move to the next objective, which is a step-by-step approach. So in this case, we are going to be writing it, and you're going to join me while we do this together. Okay, now that we know how to tackle it, we are going to use that approach in answering the passage or this question. Okay, so there are 2 questions. Okay, so we have a passage. There are 2 questions we need to answer. In one sentence, summarize the yardstick used to make a distinction between one school and another. Okay, so in this question, we need just one sentence. One sentence, that's the limit. Then B, in 5 sentences, one for each, summarize the factors responsible for the different levels of achievement in school. So in this question B, we are to provide 5 sentences, one for each factor. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing with this question. Now we're going to go over to the passage now to read that. Now that we've read the question, the next thing is to read the passage twice. But before we do that, I created a longer version of this video. So all you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the MySchool website. Then you have to subscribe. Please go ahead and subscribe so that you can enjoy the rest of today's lesson. Okay, thank you for staying with us. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.